know you are in pain, but this is not you!
With where we left off with Star Wars Jedi Survivor, I'm pretty sure this third game has got to be epic. But hey everybody, welcome back to a different sort of video, talking about one of my favorite franchises, Star Wars, but more specifically EA and Respawn's Star Wars Jedi series. With the third game on the horizon, and plenty of rumors surrounding it, and conflicting sources saying that we will get a trailer sometime in May to coincide with May the 4th be with you, and a plethora of other things, so I wanted to make this small video going over all the info and talking about the likelihood of it, and just going over my overall opinions on the third game as a whole, and what I think the third game could improve on from learning from the previous two entries, as a fan of this overall series of games. But without further ado, let's actually get into the info that we do know of. Because one of the biggest pieces of news was EA was canceling a plethora of projects, and not only that, firing a lot of their staff members. This actually happened a long while back, and I didn't actually have the time to cover it back then, but it did actually add a bit of uncertainty for the future of the Star Wars Jedi franchise. Because EA ended up canceling a lot of projects, like the Black Panther game and a couple other ones, and shutting down a couple studios in their lineup, which was incredibly worrying, because it wouldn't be the first time that EA has screwed over a relatively popular game, and also, with their troubling history, putting money over everything else, which obviously had myself and also fans worried for the future of this franchise. But I guess the force was with the fans, because they did end up confirming we are going to be getting a third game, and there is no cancellation of that project. But it came with a bit of bad news. EA laid off 100 employees at Respawn.
Jesus.
Yeah, that's right, 100 employees lost their jobs, which is utterly ridiculous to me, and it was really infuriating, not just because it affected a game that I like, but also, this is someone's livelihood, and you're just laying off 100 people for what reason? And this giant layoff could actually have affected the game overall, and its quality, not just when it comes to the environment, but also the characters, story, and gameplay, where the first two games had an amazing level of detail and quality, and if the third game actually drops in that quality, it's going to be a lesser experience, which could make the game suffer overall. Because the Star Wars Jedi games have had a relatively short but also long development cycle. While the first game released in 2019, the second game was delayed, but it released in 2023. And those details are incredibly important when you think about the rumored release date of 2026 for Star Wars Jedi 3. Despite a lot of things, that actually does line up with the overall development cycle of the previous two games, where despite the layoffs and a lot of problems behind the scenes, I do think it does make sense for the game to release sometime this year or next. While there are rumors that suggest that we will receive a trailer sometime in May around the Star Wars week of May the 4th be with you, I am incredibly skeptical. While I do think it could happen, I don't believe that it will. Because on the Star Wars game front, we do have other projects that are in active development, like a KOTOR remake and also the Star Wars Jedi Racers, and a couple other projects which I do think are more than likely going to be getting new trailers for those games over an official first announcement for Star Wars Jedi 3. While I would love to be wrong, and I will take an L if I am, and you guys can tease me in the comments, I personally don't think we are with how they marketed the second game. While we did get a first trailer at a Star Wars event for the first game, I don't think that they're going to repeat that marketing strategy again. They might, but I don't think so. I do think that they're going to be doing what they did for the second game, where they revealed the game at a big gaming-related showcase event with the state of play. And I'm more than likely to believe that they would do the exact same marketing strategy again over doing another first announcement at a Star Wars event like they did with the first game. So when it comes to the first trailer, it can go either way. While I do think it's not likely, it could be just as likely with how they marketed the first game. And also factoring in the rumored release date of 2026. When in 2026, I have no idea. While it is rumored that it could be early or late into 2026, we have no idea. Because these are all based on rumors, with up-in-the-air sources. But when it comes down to this game, I do believe that it could obviously be released sometime around 2026, but I also believe this game needs to be better than the second game in a couple areas. While the second game did improve a lot on the flaws of the first game, but it also created its own problems that this game needs to rectify as well. And personally, the first thing the third game needs to do better is the story itself. While I won't say that Jedi Survivor's story is bad by any sense of the word, it is great in a couple areas. It didn't have the same level of impact as the first game's story. While the first game's story had some issues, it was incredibly dark and memorable and had iconic moments that people loved, while the second game didn't have too many of those moments and a lot of that memorability. While the second game only had a little bit of that memorability towards the tail end when it started to become really dark and had that same level of storytelling as the first game. And where it left off with a lot of our characters in Cal's journey, I do believe that there is a lot of potential to do something really iconic that lives up to the quality that the first game's story had. Because we've seen games try to conclude a story in 2 games and it never really works as well because of how rushed it is, but this is being done in 3 games, and there's a lot of potential for the third game to have amazing pacing and quality where it feels like a true end to Cal's journey. Another thing that the third game really needs to do is up the gameplay ante when it comes to gadgets and puzzles, because there really wasn't too many puzzles in the second game, and I really liked some of the levels of puzzles that we had in the first one, and I would love to see those come back, but done a bit differently to evolve around gadgets or other stuff. Also, more variety when it comes to enemies, because I do feel that the second game, while it did improve a lot on the enemy variety, it also just feels like we're battling things we already have fought before, so I would love to see some more variety when it comes to the enemy types and seeing brand new ones. And the last thing that I think that the third game could do, and that's something I really want to see, is more different abilities that Cal can access, even tapping into the dark side to some extent. So taking a couple prompts from the Force Unleashed games where you can use Force Lightning and maybe even some of Marin's magic or some other stuff. I don't know. There's a lot of things that this game can overall do better than the previous 2 entries, and I honestly can't wait to play it because it is rumored for 2026, and more than likely it'll probably be November of 2026 to coincide with the first game's anniversary, and I honestly believe it would make the most sense. But if it doesn't come out in 2026 and it gets some type of early 2027 release date, regardless, I still will be happy, and I think most fans just want to play this game. But let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Sorry this video is a little bit rambly, but regardless, I have done a video in the past talking about legitimate things that I would like to see for a Star Wars Jedi 3, so you can check that video out right here. It's extremely old, but make sure to like this video while you're here, or if this video wasn't for you, change it to a dislike. It's perfectly fine. And while you're at it, make sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell notifications button to be notified whether I upload, whether it's Devil May Cry, Star Wars, Resident Evil, or any other content under the sun. Have a good rest of your guys' and gals' night, morning, afternoon, or whatever it is for you in the world. Peace out. Bye-bye.